Come in, relax, sit down, make yourself comfortable.
Thanks. Hi.
Well then, Evertress, what seems to be bothering you?
I have a fear of PvE.
Fear of player versus environment?
Yeah, I just can't do it anymore.
Why don't you tell me about your past life?
Well, I used to be a raider. I was there for all the big bosses. Nothing was too strong for us. The damage was incredible. I was all powerful. My life was amazing. The gear, the respect, the girls. Well, the gear, the respect. The gear? Oh, who am I kidding? I was a clown in that raid gear. A clown.
Why didn't you try PvP?
Hello? I was Alliance.
Oh, right. Sorry. Did you try any other hobbies?
Well, I did try a brief music career.
Oh, you touch my tra-la-la. My ding-ding-dong. Oh, you touch my tra-la-la.
They told me to stick to my day job.
Which was raiding.
Right.
So what did you do?
I snapped. On the next raid, I pulled a Leroy and charged Illidan. Then everything went black. The next thing I knew, I woke up at a crypt somewhere with a hunger for gnomes.
Well, that's perfectly natural. I think we've discovered the root of your fear.
What do you suggest?
You have a lot of pent-up aggression that you're afraid to let out. Your gnome hunger is from residual hostility from past ridicule. I'd prescribe killing at least 3 gnomes a day, preferably with meals.
Can I combine the two?
Sure.
Thanks, Doc.
No problem.
Well, I'll go give that a try. I'll give you a call if I have any problems.
Happy slaughtering. Next. Oh dear, we have a lot of work to do.
So, how'd it go?
Pretty good. I have to kill some gnomes.
I like this, Doctor. Let's head over to the Battle Masters.
Hey, Evan.
Let's run some heroic mech, it'll be great! Yeah! Oh crap!
It's a top selector.
Damn it!
Hey, come on, I'm trying to write a postcard here.
OMG, I'm totally lead sauce. You're the noob sauce. I'm lead bone sauce. Noob sauce.
Okay. Why don't you go finish that duel with that warlock over there?
OMG, death coil, WTF, fear bombing noob. Oh, Blizzard. God, hacks. Oh my god. What is it? Non-crit for 2K. Oh, hacks! Fear bomb!
That's not really a game model. Anyway, I guess you kinda lost that one.
Blizzard! WTF!
Alright, look. I hear that sort of thing all the time, and it's really getting old. Blaming something else for your own shortcoming isn't going to fix anything. Okay, I'll elaborate. In fact, this is probably the biggest piece of advice I can ever offer. Ready? You can win every fight. You can beat Soul Link Warlocks. You can beat 10 Soul Link Warlocks at once, naked. Either you've disconnected or you don't believe me. Look, it may not always be actually true, but that's how you have to think. You can win every fight. If you lose, think of it as your fault, not the game's. Whining and getting upset over the game won't make it magically change just for you. That's not to say you should beat yourself up over losing, never do that. Still, look back on the fight you just lost and think to yourself, I could have won that. What should I have done differently? If you think like this, you'll figure out things you may not have thought of before. Okay, here's a demonstration. I'll go fight that warlock you just lost to. Alright, so let's take a look at the situation. This warlock is what is commonly referred to as the Drain Tank spec. This means he has Soul Link and Siphon Life. I want to take a quick moment to point out all the buffs that I have on. A warlock's Fell Hunter can only devour magic every 8 seconds. The general idea is that the more buffs we have on, the longer it's going to take the Fell Hunter to eat through them. For example, here we have 6 buffs. If it takes the Fell Hunter 8 seconds to eat through each one, it's going to take him 48 seconds to get through all 6 of these buffs. This means we'll have a better chance of having Ice Barrier stay up later on in the fight. Alright, I'm going to tell you right now that I lose this fight. We're going to look at it, see what I did wrong, and see how I can correct it. My basic strategy going into this is to put out as much damage as possible while trying to avoid fear and save Ice Block for Death Coil. The fight has started and I've already made a huge mistake. I don't have my Water Elemental out. I Fire Blast it to start, just so I can get it on cooldown and start using it as much as possible. That part was a good idea. However, I got Spell Locked right away because it's on autocast. While this is generally a bad thing to do for the Warlock, in this case it screwed me over because I tried to summon my Elemental while I was silenced. I hit my summon macro and actually didn't realize that my Elemental hadn't come out, so I continued trying to deal damage. Besides that, I'm not actually doing too badly so far. Death Coil means Ice Block. I was a little bit slow on it, but it wasn't too bad. Notice the Drain Life immunity right there. He tried to drain life, which is the whole point of the Drain Tank spec. We want to avoid that as much as possible, so when he tries it again, like right there, we want to counterspell. We get silenced for a moment, and now we're in a lot of trouble. We don't have Ice Block, and our counterspell is on cooldown. As soon as he can, he's going to drain life again, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. And there it is. So what did we do wrong here? We're going to eventually reach this point no matter what we do, where we have no counterspell and no Ice Block. We could Cold Snap, but Hypothermia is stopping us from Ice Blocking again, at least for the moment. Really, the problem we had here is that we just didn't put out enough damage fast enough. Look at his life total. We've only gotten him down to half by the time we've gotten to this point. Right from the start, we didn't have a Water Elemental, and we just didn't put enough pressure on him. And while we did counter his early moves, he had enough time to just simply outlast us until we had nothing we could do against him. At this point, he's draining life fast enough to outpace our damage, and with all the dots on us, we basically have no chance from here. So let's try this again. This time, we're going to bring out a Water Elemental right from the start and try and put on a lot more pressure than we did last time. Our goal is to have him a lot lower by the time we get to the point where we have no counterspell and no Ice Block. Even then, it's going to be hard to outpace his drain life, so ideally, we want to have him actually dead before we ever hit that point. As you'll see, the added damage of the Water Elemental and the Shatter combos that he allows us to do will make a huge difference in the outcome of this fight. Now here's a very interesting thing about Warlock casts. Unless the Warlock is Destruction, he has no way of stopping any kind of pushback on his spell. Unfortunately, this might not be true for Fear, because there's a PvP glove bonus that has a 50% resistance to pushback. However, for something like, say, Immolate, which he's trying to cast right now, if you can create a quick flurry of spells, it's going to push his spell back quite a bit while you're able to deal damage very safely. Here we're going to use Frost Nova, Ice Lance, and the pet is going to get in an attack. He just took 3 interrupts. By the time he actually gets this off, it's taken him 2.4 extra seconds to cast. This means it took almost 3 times as long as it would normally. In the meantime, we've taken over a third of his life away, and we're still at full. We still have Ice Block and Counterspell ready for any drain lives. Keep putting on the pressure, and there's the Death Coil. We still have Counterspell, and we're going to save that for any Shadow spell, most likely drain life. He dots us up again a little bit, but he's in panic mode now, and needs to drain to stay alive. We counterspell that, and we're in really good shape. In fact, let's take a look at the last fight and see where we were at when we hit this point before. In the last fight, he had about half of his life left, which was enough to let him survive the 8 seconds of counterspell, and come through with a drain life that we could do nothing against. Another interesting thing to note is that we were about at the same life total ourselves. It was really our damage output that we needed to change, and that's what we did for this fight. We get silenced again as soon as we counterspell, but we still have 6 seconds to do as much damage as we possibly can. And there, we just beat a Soul Link Warlock. See, it is possible. I would like to point out that a Warlock will have an advantage over a Mage. Just because you can win doesn't mean you'll always win. The Warlock does have to make a mistake, like that Immolate that we saw in the last fight. However, you need to be ready to capitalize on those mistakes. For example, when he tried to cast Immolate, we sent a flurry of spells at him to make it take 3 times as long to cast. Let's take a look at an Affliction Warlock. The basic idea remains the same. Do damage, Ice Block on Death Coil, and do more damage until they're dead. Since I'm undead, I can just will the Forsaken out of the opening fear. He also spell locks very early, which made counterspelling kind of hard. The Fellhunter Silence lets him get that unstable Affliction off, and we're getting dotted up pretty quick. There's not much we can do, but we have Ice Block ready. We get Death Coiled, and we Ice Block just after Shadowburn. The timing wasn't too good on that. As a quick note, it's good to not always immediately come out of Ice Block as soon as you go into it, especially against a Warlock. Here he's casting Fear, but since we're already in an Ice Block, why not just stay in it until it's done casting? He tries to chain cast to catch us on the next one, but we're out so soon that we can counterspell it. We also get our Water Elemental out, since now he can't Howl of Terror. Speaking of which, whenever you're facing an Affliction Warlock or a Priest, it's always a good idea to get as much distance as possible between yourself and the Elemental. This will stop their AoE fears from getting both of you. Either they get the Elemental and you're safe, or they get you and your Elemental is safe. The only control option the Warlock has left is basically Howl of Terror. We still have our Trinket because we used Will of the Forsaken before. There's the Howl of Terror, and he only got us because our Elemental was safely away. We use our Trinket and go right back to DPS. You may also notice he just popped a Hellstone. Now he's going to get a Drain Life in, but at this point he's so far behind that he panics and instead tries to Shadowburn again. We also had our counterspell about to come up, so it wasn't a big deal either way. And there you go. We just beat an Affliction Warlock that just used a Hellstone and 2 Shadowburns. So did that help convince you at all? So you're just going to ignore me? That's it. I'm calling my therapist. Busy? What the hell is he busy with?
So let me get this straight. You want marriage counseling with your tiger. I hate my job.
Oh, forget it. Just go watch this video while I go kill a gnome or something.
Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs a bosom. There's dancing behind movie scenes, behind the movie scene. Satirani, she's the one that keeps the dream alive. From the morning past the evening to the end of the light. Grim food of Asher on the 45. Well, it's a grim food of Asher on behind movie scenes, behind those movie screens. Asher Bosley, she's the one that keeps the dream alive, from the morning past the evening to the end of the life. Brimful of Asher on the 45, well, it's a brimful of Asher on the 45. Brimful of Asher on the 45, well, it's a brimful of Asher on the 45. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Mine's on the 45. Singing, illuminate the main streets and the cinema aisles. We don't care about no government warning about that promotion of the civil life of the dams they're building. Brimful of Asher on the 45, well, it's a brimful of Asher on the 45. Brimful of Asher on the 45, well, it's a brimful of Asher on the 45. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a blow. Everybody needs a bosom. Mine's on the 45. Mohammed Rafi, 45. Lata Mangeshkar, 45. Solid State Radio, 45. Ferguson Mono, 45. Bon Public, 45. 2-in-1s, 45. Argo Records, 45. Trojan Records, 45. Jack Dutrunk and the Bowling Boogie, the heavy hitters and the Chi-Chi music. Jack Dutrunk and the Bowling Boogie, the heavy hitters and the Chi-Chi music. Jack Dutrunk and the Bowling Boogie, Jack Dutrunk and the Bowling Boogie, Jack Dutrunk and the Jack Dutrunk and the Jack Dutrunk and the Bowling Boogie, the heavy hitters and the Chi-Chi music. Jack Dutrunk and the Bowling Boogie, the heavy hitters and the Chi-Chi music. Jack Dutrunk and the Bowling Boogie, the heavy hitters and the Chi-Chi music. Jack Dutrunk and the Bowling Boogie. Brimful of Asher on the 45, well, it's a brimful of Asher on the 45. Brimful of Asher on
time we're going to show a bit more of an interesting fight. This is going to be against a paladin, a mage, a warrior, a rogue, and a priest. This team has more healing than the last, so we're going to have to do a bit more for disruption this time. We're going to use rank 1 Blizzard just totally randomly. Occasionally you'll find a rogue or a druid this way, and it's not very mana intensive, and you can just drink right after, so you might as well. So for this fight, we decided to go for the priest first, as he's going to be squishy, and he's also going to be one of the most dangerous for us if left alone. If he gets any mana burns off on our soul healer, the paladin, we're in a lot of trouble. This will also severely limit the amount of healing that he's able to do. After a quick sheep on the pally, we're going to help blow up the priest. Remember that it's also our job to keep our teammates alive. Here our warlock is getting chased by a rogue, so a quick frost nova will help get him some breathing distance. Also remember that warriors hate polymorph. If the target has Blessing of Freedom on, polying the warrior will get them out of range and make it extremely difficult for them to keep Mortal Strike on. This is huge for your healer. Our teammates have gotten the priest to about half, so now it's time to help finish him off. Unfortunately, the paladin is back up and running, so he's getting some huge heals off. That's okay though, just keep up the pressure and we'll go from there. Our warlock is also still alive thanks to our help and our paladin's awesome healing. It's very important that we stay in this fight, so counterspell that polymorph. Return the favor, and then polymorph the paladin while the priest is at half health. This will be the perfect time to try and finish him off. With the 4 of us on him, the priest goes down fast. Unfortunately, we're about to lose our warlock. After that completely pro Frost Nova that hit absolutely no one, I'm going to sheep that warrior to help get our shaman back to safety. We need to keep all our guys alive at this point. Now, our next target is going to be the paladin. We thought he bubbled. This was a mistake on our part. Since he's the only healer, and we have a counterspell and an earth shock and a pummel, he's basically going to have no chance to survive, besides his bubble. With some ridiculous burst, courtesy of our water elemental, we almost kill him before he bubbles. Unfortunately, he manages to just get it off. At this point, we're going to play a bit of a waiting game, and try and put some pressure on some of the other members of their team. We also need to focus on staying alive as best as possible. Our paladin's mana is doing pretty well, but we don't want to take any unnecessary risks. As soon as the bubble drops, we're going right back on him and finishing him off very quickly. He tries to go for a heal, but the Shaman Earth Shocks and I counterspell at the same time. I guess that makes him doubly screwed on that heal. Still, he's down. Our Shaman's in trouble, but now it's a 4 versus 3 fight. Okay, make that a 3 versus 3 fight. Our Shaman is dead. Fortunately, we have a healer and they don't. Now it becomes a waiting game. Our goal is not exactly to do damage, we'll leave that to the warrior. Our goal is to stay alive. As long as we're alive, there's always the threat that we can go, drink, and recover, and come back to the fight with a lot of damage. So even though it may seem we're currently kind of useless with very little mana, we're actually very key in this fight. Our warrior is doing pretty good work on their warrior, but again, our goal is not to help finish him off. Since he has no healer, there's really no point. Our goal is to CC that mage to help keep the warrior up and running, and to basically avoid the incoming damage on us. Alright, the warrior is down, and we're in no real danger. Still though, don't make any stupid mistakes, and basically just keep on trying to survive. The mage is our warrior's next target, and with little mana, he's in trouble. Quick evocation, but we didn't really get all that much. Again, it's just to keep them on me. I'm the bait. Our warrior sheeps and our paladin gets silenced at the same time. We're on our own for a few seconds, but we're not in too much trouble. Between Frost Nova, Polymorph, and our own counterspell, there's really not that much damage coming in before the rest of our team can recover. Our warrior switched to the rogue, but again, we're just focusing on staying alive. After the rogue goes down, the mage just drops out because it's pretty hopeless from there. Phew, that was close, but we pulled it out. Alright, you've reached the end of the movie. I hope you've enjoyed it, and maybe even learned a thing or two. If you're interested in more, check out my website. It contains mods, macros, and basic strategy for Mage PvP. Good luck, and remember, never ever give up. After the road goes down, where's my mic? Alright, this time we've replaced our... What did we replace? We don't have a priest. Why do I think we have a priest? It's our same goddamn team. Since I'm undead, I can just will of the Forsaken.
Very angry nerds! 5!
Oh dear, we have a lot of work to do. I went British there. Oh dear, why the fuck do I want to go British? Oh dear, we have...
Oh crap. Oh crap!
You have a lot of pent-up aggression that you're afraid to let out. Your gnome hunger is from residual. Residual. I said it the first time.
Right.
Residual.
F. I can't be energetic. I don't know what you want me to. I can't be energetic.
The skinny has joined the channel.